Welcome back to Keeping Ag Real. This is Jenny Schweigert. I'm a mom, wife, chauffeur, sheep and cattle herder, front porch obsessor, and your host. Keeping Ag Real is part of the Farm and Rural Ag Network, your hub for agriculture stories and discussion through podcasting and blogging. For more information, visit farmruralag.com. Today's guest is a semi-homesteader from Chicago. Yes, you heard me correctly. Natasha Nichols is a mom to 4, wife to 1, and she has a passion for agriculture like I've never seen. She is a recurring guest, and you can learn more about her other episodes where she talks about Harry Connick Jr. and her experience within the agriculture community as a non-farmer. Those episodes are episodes 31 and 32. Today, Natasha is going to talk about some of the efforts that are happening in urban areas to connect children with agriculture. Without further ado, here we go. Let's listen to Natasha.
We moved into our home in December of 2014. And while we were building, we would come through and kind of scout out the neighborhood, because you want to be able to know your neighborhood. And we were moving into an already established neighborhood on the south side of Chicago. And given media coverage or coverage of people who lived here before and then moved out because, they thought it was too dangerous or whatever, nobody wanted to really invest in the area until these new houses started going in. So now we have all types of prospectors coming around because, there's new blood being pumped, which is another rant for another day for me. But right across the street was this lot that could totally fit 3 new homes, but none of the developers were interested in it at all. And, we would sit and watch, and people would come through and flick candy wrappers, or people would drive by and throw garbage out because nobody's taking care of it. And I asked our alderman, or the chief of staff of the alderman, if we could do something with it. And he considered it an eyesore. So he's like, whatever you do, if you can make it look better than this, go for it. And while we were building, my husband and I kept telling him that would be perfect for, just a full garden. And he told me, he says, well, we want you to focus on the piece of land that we have in the back of our house first to see if this is something that you actually want to do, if it's a growing process. So we did. And on social media, if you go way back to 2015, you'll see that we had a mini garden in the back, and that provided so much food for us in just a little sliver of land that ignited even more the need to go across the street. So in 2016, we invested a little bit of our money and started building raised beds because we couldn't get the soil tested at all. It cost quite a bit with the city. And we built raised beds, and some other people saw what we were doing. And I think word spread via online because I was sharing our journey online. And before I knew it, producers from Harry Connick Jr. show called and stated that they just wanted to interview me as a mom who was just putting back into her community, which I should have seen it for what it was for. And a total ploy to set me up. I don't like surprises. So, we did that. And before we knew it, they had spoken to the lumber yard that we had spoken to, and we wrote letters for grants and everything. And what they did was go behind our back because I talked about it, because obviously I'm passionate about it. So I let them know everything I was doing. And they went behind and secured all of this stuff for us in order to be able to do. So we went from 4 raised beds to 46 raised beds.
Holy
and these
cow.
are 4x8 raised beds, and they secured the soil and the lumber for us to build. And then everything else was kind of connecting with other people, and Lowe's gave us a nice grant. So now we're in the midst of trying to secure that land, so that we can't get kicked off of it for development. And there's a program in Chicago called Neighbor Space, and their land acquisition program that protects community gardens so that these neighborhoods throughout the entire city can be protected because Chicago is a big city. Developers come through and they see land, and if it looks as if it's just kind of pretty land and nothing really built on it, they'll go through and buy the deed and tell you that you have, weeks or a month or so to get off. Then you have to start all over again. That's what we're currently working on or towards right now, is acquiring that land so that we can protect it.
So in your opinion, what is the main purpose of community gardens?
The main purpose of the community garden is providing for people, and then showcasing that they can also grow in their own backyards, and then working with the children who are also going to be the inspiration for their parents. Because we all know, those of us who do have children, if kids get a cool idea in their head, and their parents are the type of parents who totally support, them kind of clamping on to things that interest them. Once they work in the garden for a day or two, they're going to go back home and buzz their parents. And we want to be a source for them to come and ask questions and learn some more. And then maybe even give out gardening kits. I have this entire hierarchy of how I kind of want the community garden to grow. And we want to be able to do scholarships for graduating seniors or adults going back to school doing continuing education. And then we also want to start providing gardening kits for those people who may not be able to come work with us in the garden during the day because they're at work and at school, but they can do things on the weekends or after work, when they get home. During the summertime, I would love to have story time for the kids and have the older people come and just read. They may not be able to do that physical labor, but they can do stuff to still build the community, within our neighborhood. So
can I come up and read this summer?
Yeah.
I would love that. Yeah.
It would be fun, wouldn't it?
Yes. And go ahead and I'll take some video, and I'm starting a little vlogging too.
Okay. And the more I talk about it, the more excited I get. So.
And it is so exciting, and it's been exciting to watch it all kind of unfold.
And my youngest daughter and I are presenting. We're teaching a class at the Morton Arboretum on edible gardening. Yeah, edible gardening with children. So I'm actually her teacher's assistant.
When is that happening?
This is in March. I can tweet out the schedule for people who want to attend. And I believe that you will be getting seed packets and stuff to start an herb garden at home. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's super excited about it. And I love that she is as into gardening as I am. She is my mini gardener. My oldest daughter is my chicken wrangler. So she's very excited that we're getting a new flock of hens next year. But my youngest daughter is all about gardening and identifying, plants. So she's into the leaf identification and all of that stuff. We were growing tomatoes in our backyard, just like in the middle of the backyard, because I guess we dropped some seeds. And she came in and told me, she says, we have tomatoes growing in the backyard. And of course, being an adult, you're like, you don't know what you're talking about, right? Kind of, because that's what we do to kids sometimes. She says, no, really, I need you to come out and look at it. When I went outside, there sure enough were tomatoes growing in the middle of our backyard. So it's Saturday, March 24th, and it's kid-friendly edible gardening, and it's from 9:30 a.m. until noon, and we will be at the Morton Arboretum.
Which is beautiful.
It's gorgeous. The program is $46, so we'll get out at noon, which will allow you all the time in the world to explore it's so pretty, so much to do there and so many things to see. They even have a children's garden there that you can go. So children are welcome. It's a great beginner's class. So if you feel like you have a black thumb, this will be the class that you come to, because my 7-year-old, she's a new 7-year-old. She just turned 7. She and her twin brother on Sunday. My 7-year-old will be teaching, and then I will be her teacher's assistant.
I love that.
And we will show you how to start. Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, definitely look into, at least bring one of my boys too, because we are starting a small program at our grade school, and at the high school level, our FFA group, they're going to start growing food in the greenhouse to help combat some of this rural hunger that we've got going on here in our area. So I'd love to see what you're doing and what you're teaching. So that's awesome.
And we also have the page, the actual food Facebook page of mine. It's called We Sow, SOW, We Grow. And you can like that page, and you can even join our gardening chat, which is a private group for those folks who are growing their own food or their own flowers and kind of want a more intimate conversation instead of waiting, for someone to answer their question on a public Facebook page. Mm-hmm. We have a private group where everybody kind of helps out. So it's really nice to have that. Yeah, like it and we'll add you. And as long as you're nice, we'll keep you.
I'll do my best. Thanks, Natasha, for being so generous with your time and doing all 3 episodes with us, and of course, sharing your expertise on a wide range of topics. If you would like to listen to her other episodes, they are available on the Keeping Ag Real website, and they are episodes 30 and 31. If you're near the Chicagoland area, consider attending the Kid-Friendly Edible Garden program. It is scheduled for March 24th. And it's being put on by Natasha's 7-year-old daughter, which is really cool. Watch Natasha's social channels for registration information, and I hope to see you there. You can find her at Houseful of Nichols. Nichols is NICHOLES.com. You can also find her on Twitter at Natasha Nichols, and then on Facebook, search for Houseful of Nichols. Thanks again, Natasha. I know what you're thinking. This was a little bit of a short podcast episode. Keeping Ag Real is designed to provide outside perspectives on food, fuel, fiber, and even everyday products. But it's also about investigating and discovering different aspects of agriculture and food. It's important to me that people are equipped with correct information. And we know that a great deal of the information we find on social media or in traditional media lacks accuracy. So part of my mission is investigating and discovering different aspects and issues within agriculture. So in a somewhat rare move, even with a hoarse voice, the rest of the podcast will be sharing my experience and research pertaining to urban farms and community gardens. Out of curiosity, I wanted to know more about the curriculums which are being offered to children. Folks such as Natasha are fueling our students' exposure to agriculture. While Natasha has an excellent understanding of the agriculture industry, many do not. I'm going to start out by talking about an experience I had a few years ago in Portland, Oregon. I had the privilege to tour Zinger Farm. It is seriously in the heart of Portland. The city practically gobbled it up. It's 320 acres right in the middle of everything. The Zinger family wanted it to be preserved, and today it is run like a non-for-profit organization. But it plays a huge, major role in agriculture and science education for many Portland students. I was surprised at the time I was visiting. I think that they said most of the students in their grade schools were actually getting their science there on the farm. They would bus the students back and forth. They also offer these really cool farm camps throughout the year. There's a winter camp and a fall camp and a spring camp. Since I was there, they've taken the Circle of Food a step further. And now they're implementing cooking and nutrition workshops, which I commend them for doing. I do think that as a society, we've gotten too far away from cooking. I know myself, I have absolutely gotten too far away. They're focusing on scratch cooking, whole foods, etc. But I also noticed that there is a heavy emphasis on sustainability, one of my least favorite words. And this definition of sustainability is a bit different than mainstream agriculture. We all know Portland can have a reputation for being crunchy. So back to Google I went. I wanted to research urban farms in my home state of Illinois. I first looked at the city of Chicago. And it was interesting to find that we have over 50 urban farms in Chicago alone. And I don't believe that list includes community gardens from what I could decipher. The list includes rooftop farms. It included reclaimed building vertical farms, such as The Plant. There's also a farm called the Gardener's Farm, which actually provides customized school programs to 800 students in 26 Chicagoland schools. I had no idea the amount of students who are being reached by these urban farms, which is what triggered my curiosity to find out exactly what types of programs and what is being taught. Next, I looked at mid-sized cities within the state of Illinois in Springfield, Bloomington, and Peoria. I found the Prairie City Farms located on 14 acres hidden in the heart of Springfield, Illinois. There's the Refuge in Bloomington, and one that I've passed numerous times without even realizing it in Peoria is the Nomadic. Many of these techniques that they're using are what I would consider alternative, and their version of sustainability is much different than what my definition of sustainability is. And my definition is probably different than your definition. So who are the people who are behind these farms? It was interesting to find out that many are actually non-for-profit organizations with boards of directors, and they're ran by volunteers. Are they non-typical and different from our conventional farming philosophies that the agriculture community has come to love and embrace? No doubt at all. However, I think that there is an enormous opportunity to build relationships and exchange information about conventional farming and vice versa. I'm sure that we can learn just as much about their techniques as they can learn about conventional. So I'm challenging myself and I'm challenging you to visit an urban farm or a community garden in your area, but I think it really would be time well worth spent. Volunteer a couple hours. Get to know the volunteers. You just never know what connections exist out there. Our world gets smaller and smaller every day. And you will never know what is really happening at these locations until you see it for yourself. Thanks for joining this episode. Remember to visit the website keepingagreal.com. Follow me on Twitter at keepingagreal and Jen Schweigert. Search for Keeping Ag Real on Facebook. And at any time, feel free to reach out to me at jenny@keepingagreal.com. Until next time, you know what to do. Keep it real.